So today we're going to do something a little different. We're not really here to review a supplement, but instead we're going to dissect the strategy behind it. We're going to break down the sales page for a product called AlphaFuel Pro to understand the powerful psychological triggers they're using. You can kind of think of this as a masterclass in modern online persuasion.
And it all kicks off right here with what marketers call the hook. See, this isn't about listing ingredients. No, it's a story. It immediately grabs your attention by mixing mystery with history, shocking archaeological discovery, ancient Roman soldiers, and ties it directly to a powerful modern desire. It's literally designed to make you slam on the brakes while you're scrolling and go, wait, what is this secret?
And that question, that's the perfect pivot. Because that ancient secret isn't really the product. It's just the key that unlocks the door to a much deeper, much more personal conversation. This whole sales page isn't just selling a pill. It's selling a solution to a profoundly emotional and, honestly, often unspoken problem. And that brings us to a really crucial point, one that's key to all of this. The most effective marketing? It doesn't sell features, it sells feelings. It zeroes in on a pain point. And in a case like this, that pain isn't just some physical symptom. No, it's all the emotional fallout that comes along with it. I mean, just look at the emotional stakes here. These are the real problems they're talking about solving. It's not about, blood flow. It's about saving your marriage when it's right on the brink. It's not about taking a simple pill. It's about fighting back against that feeling of getting old and trying to get your confidence back. It even taps into that frustration you might have with a medical system that just tells you, hey, you should just accept it. And, well, it hits right at the core fear of being seen as, less of a man. All right, so once they've got you thinking about that emotional problem, the very next step is to build trust. And probably the most powerful way to do that, especially online, is with something called social proof. The whole idea is super simple. We tend to trust stories from people who seem just like us, right? People who face the same struggles and, hey, they found a way out. So let's take Mark's story, for example. The language he uses here is just incredibly potent. He starts off with, "I'm ashamed to admit it," which right away creates this sense of vulnerability and makes him super relatable. And the stakes? I mean, they couldn't be higher. His wife was on the verge of leaving. So in this story, the product didn't just fix a small problem, it literally saved his entire relationship. Now, this next one from Michael, it shows us another really smart tactic, creating a common enemy. For Michael, the enemy is that dismissive doctor, the medical establishment that basically told him to give up. So by framing the product as this defiant bullshit to that advice, it creates this us versus them feeling. Suddenly, this isn't just a supplement anymore. It's a full-on rebellion. And then we have David's story, which just doubles down on this recurring theme. Saved my marriage. Hey, that's the second time we've seen that exact phrase. The promise here isn't just about fixing things. It's about total rejuvenation. In that phrase, like newlyweds again, wow, that is such a powerful emotional picture. It promises to turn back the clock, not just physically, but romantically too. Okay, so when you step back and look at all these testimonials together, a really clear pattern starts to emerge. These are not random reviews, not at all. They are very carefully chosen stories that hammer home the same core promises again and again. Saving your relationship, defying the so-called experts, turning back time, and getting back a core piece of your identity. It's really like a symphony of reassurance. All right, so let's pause for a second. At this point, you're hooked by the story. You totally relate to the problem, and now you trust the testimonials. All that emotional groundwork has been perfectly laid. So, what's the final step? Well, it's to create an offer that makes saying yes feel like the only possible logical choice, what we call the no-brainer deal. And one of the main ways they do this is with tiered pricing. Just look at how the price per bottle drops, and drops big time, the more you buy. That 2-bottle option at $64 a bottle, it's there to make the 6-bottle option at $49 a bottle look like an absolutely fantastic bargain. Your brain is being guided, pretty skillfully, toward the biggest package, and it's framed not as the biggest expense, but as the smartest investment. And then, boom, they hit you with this number, $120. This is a classic psychological trick called an anchor. By showing you really prominently how much you save, your brain just latches onto that bigger number. All of a sudden, the actual price, that $294, feels a whole lot smaller because you're comparing it to the money you're not spending. It totally reframes the cost as a gain. But wait, what if you're still on the fence? This is where they pull out the final card, the ironclad guarantee. And this thing is a total masterclass in what's called risk reversal.
Think about it. By promising a full refund for any reason at all, heck, even on empty bottles, they remove every single last bit of risk from you, the buyer, and they put it all on themselves. Psychologically, there's now absolutely no reason not to try it. That final wall, that last barrier to buying, has just been completely smashed down.
So yeah, when you put all these pieces together, you start to see that this is so much more than just a web page trying to sell something. It's a systematic, step-by-step journey that's designed to guide someone from just being curious all the way to being completely convinced. It is, quite literally, a complete sales playbook.
So let's just recap that playbook real quick. First, they grab you with a really fascinating historical hook. Next, they agitate a deep emotional problem you might have. Then, they build trust using the social proof of all those relatable testimonials. After that, they build an irresistible offer that just feels like a smart deal. And finally, to close it out, they reverse all the risk with a guarantee that seems totally bulletproof. It's just a really powerful and honestly, a very repeatable formula.
So the next time you land on a page like this one, and it doesn't matter if it's for a fitness plan, a financial course, or some new kitchen gadget, you'll have the tools to see what's going on beneath the surface. You'll be able to recognize the structure, spot the emotional triggers, and really understand the psychology at play. So my question for you is, now that you know the playbook, what will you see differently?